Hello viewers, we're back in Frontier Pilot Simulator today, and this is actually going to be pretty much what I should have done for my first video. I started to record one on the basics of Frontier Pilot Simulator, how to fly, how the interface worked, all the rest of that kind of stuff, but I screwed up a number of times on that video and I never ended up posting it. So this is a fresh profile, less than a minute into the game. And we're going to try this. Now this I haven't even taken off yet. This is still the tutorial. We're going to try to get to the point where I do the battery pack and just see how long that takes and if I can manage it without screwing up. So first flight here, you look around with the right stick for your camera, you direct the aircraft with your left stick. You can roll around on the ground just using the battery power on the landing gear. Doesn't consume any electricity. Your electricity is shown in the lower left corner. All the aircraft are electric. And right now we have 850 kilograms of electricity. Let that one sink in for a little bit there. And as we use the electricity out of our batteries, the craft will actually get lighter. So we're going to do a flight over to the destination point there. Right trigger to increase the throttle, and on the right hand side of the screen you can see the altitude gauge, and then that little marker there is the rate of climb. So right now we're climbing at about 4 or 5, I'm guessing meters a second. And on the left side we have our speed indicator. And I think that little one is acceleration on the left side.
Welcome to one of the largest bases of Regular. Have a good time.
And we come in, we let off the throttle a little bit, and we go in for a landing. Nothing to it. Now it helps that I've actually got some practice playing the game. If I wait for a few seconds after I land, it'll actually shut the engines off, and then when I'm maneuvering on the ground it won't consume extra fuel. And you can recharge by getting yourself inside the little marker on the landing pad. You have to be facing in the right direction though. So it'll go yellow and then it'll go green, and then you can open up the trade route and you can buy more electricity. Right now we have 725 kilograms of electricity on board, and I'm going to increase that to 850. I have no idea who thought it was smart to think that electricity has weight, but luckily Teslas don't work like that, because that would be a real problem. Although I guess if they got lighter as the battery was consumed, that might help the range a little bit. Now we're actually just going to exit from here. Oh, it wants me to go through and whoops. For the part of the tutorial it wanted me to go through and tab to the other locations like that. Okay, so we're going to go over to Atlan Central at 3 kilometers, short little flight. And at this point I don't have the airplane mode that opens up later on. Forward on the left stick gives me some forward velocity, which also lets me climb. You can get a higher rate of climb if you're moving forwards, because even these stubby little wings will provide more lift. Now you have to be careful when you're landing that you don't get too much of a descent rate, shown in orange on the left there, because even going full throttle won't immediately drop it to nothing. And of course you can get more powerful engines.
Greetings. Thanks for choosing our base.
But this thing hasn't been upgraded yet. This is the stock absolute beginner ship. Okay, now it wants me to get onto the pad. And this is still tutorial. Once you've been through all this stuff, it won't talk about any of this. That's not close enough. Okay, so we can do a mission here. I don't know if I'm going to follow the whole tutorial, since the goal is to try to raise some money and to upgrade the battery pack on here. So I'm going to sort of get away from that. These MTG type batteries, I'm going to purchase those, and when I highlight them, it'll tell me that there's Bridgepoint. I can sell them for 1,400 credits. That's shown on the map on the left-hand side. I paid $230 for them, so I'll get a profit of about 1,200 minus the fuel costs. So let's purchase those. And I'm also going to recharge. Fuel costs on this craft are pretty low. And I refer to it as fuel rather than charge because it acts more like a liquid fuel. You navigate around these various buttons here using the D-pad, and you can also go into the map and you can find out where to find the...
Welcome to Aslan. We are pleased to announce that your first customer is awaiting your arrival at Aslan 1. Flight data transferred on board.
Okay, maybe that's Aslan Central. Oh, it wants me to go to Aslan 1, so I gotta go to Bridgepoint first, and then I'll go to that destination point. Now, the reason that I came into here... Oh, it's only showing the bases on this island. I was going to find out where else I can get the battery upgrade. So, I wanted to go to Bridgeport first. I can highlight the batteries. And I can press square to go to the nearest base, and that'll mark Bridgepoint, and then I'll go to the actual one that they're telling me to go to. And I got a decent enough rate of climb probably to get over this hillside. These white columns you see are geysers. You fly over top of that, you'll take damage. There's also a couple of volcanoes on this island. You fly over that, you'll take damage as well. And of course, that's something that you have to pay for to repair. Okay, I've got a pretty good rate of descent here, which is not necessarily ideal. So I'm going to try to get that down to under 10 for landing.
Welcome to our growing center. Our trading floors are at your service.
And I can now sell these batteries. Okay. And now I'm not going to bother to refuel because it's pretty close where I'm going. Now I'm going to go over to where it wants me to go for that passenger. This cargo box, I believe, is a ration pack. And I may grab that later. I'm coming back on the left stick when I want to decelerate, or forward on the left stick to accelerate. And of course, side to side is your yaw control.
Great, you've arrived. My name is Plum. I'm the director of Greenway. We provide assistance for customs and related logistics. I have a job for you, but first align your ship with the markings on the loading zone. Open the trade interface and buy some food. Rations sell like hotcakes in the colonies.
Maybe they are hot
You'll make
cakes.
some money and I can report the job is done. It's a win-win.
And we're also going to recharge. Now these ration packs are actually extremely valuable. There's a place you can take them.
Now we go to Central. It's a biofactory engaged in terraforming, spraying bacteria and all that. In general, a lot of people, and they all want to eat.
There's a place you can take them where they sell for... Oh. Tell me I didn't just sell those. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I got a little bit distracted. There's a place you can sell these things for $37,000. It's a fairly long flight, but well worth the trip once you have better battery capacity. Okay, so I want to target the nearest base. Square. And the most profitable base I don't think is even showing up on the map yet. That won't show up until I get the wing expansion. Now you got to be kind of careful when you're hauling cargo, especially without upgraded engines, because it can be a little slow to gain altitude, and it can also be difficult to slow your rate of descent. This is full throttle right now, and I'm still only climbing at 5 meters a second. That's a faster descent rate than I want. So I have to be careful not to fly into the mountain. Now it does seem to model ground effect, and the reason that I'm getting a little bit more climb rate here, even though I'm maybe a little heavy for it, is because I'm burning off fuel. So the aircraft gets a little bit lighter. But the early game, before you get the upgraded engines, it's all kind of, you got to be really careful on your controls. And there is a certain amount of crashing. Now there is insurance, so that if you crash, your ship will get replaced for relatively cheap, but not your cargo. So you can end up losing money on that. You know, let's say you bought expensive cargo, hoping to turn a profit on it, and then you crashed your ship a few times. That would be suboptimal, and you could find yourself actually so broke you can't afford to refuel the craft. Okay, so 4,400 I'm selling it for. I paid 850, I believe it was.
The first priority cargo is accepted. Now I understand you're a friend of Mr. Plum. Great. It's not as bad as Ivor, but rations are in great demand here. Well, Ivor is another mining colony plan. They're practically our neighbors. less than a week away on a cargo spaceway. There were reports that something strange happened there, and then a famine began.
Okay, so that doesn't really factor into it. You can't travel to any other planets as far as I know. Bridgepoint, we're going there because I think there was...
By the way, you may trade on your own without special orders. Every base constantly produces and buys a number of goods, and quartermasters regularly replenish lists of available and needed goods, which you can check in your ship's map interface.
Okay, and it looks like I can go back there and I can get more rations. So I'm going to do another trip or two, just to raise some cash, because I know I'm going to need cash. I'm not going to bother to refuel, because I know it's going to be relatively close. And you can see that my climb rate is much higher now that I'm not carrying cargo. Now, eventually you'll get a feel for how quickly you can decelerate once you start to descend. But if you come down too hard, you will damage your landing gear, you may damage your hull, and you can do damage to your cargo, which makes your cargo worth less money. You'll get a lower payout. And I can buy more rations. And this time I am going to have to refuel because...
Hi there. My buddy needs to be at Nord ASAP. Pays 1,500 credits. If you are interested, find him at Aslan Central.
1,500. Okay, well that's not the worst payout. But it doesn't pay as much as what I'm doing. Central, I believe, is where we're going anyways. Okay, so Central's where we're taking these rations. So we'll do the cargo run. Struggles a bit to get off the ground. And passenger runs are actually not bad because passengers don't really weigh anything. and it's still explaining how to pick up the passenger. Okay, now these rations are not worth quite as much because there's still not a demand for it, but you can see that the price of them is increasing. If I was willing to sit here for long enough, I could get the full 20 or 4,400, but I think in this case I'm just going to take what I can get and move along. And I don't think I need to recharge at this point yet for where we're going, so I'll exit from there. And I'm up to over 10,000. Use the triangle to set the destination as target. And I don't really want to climb all the way over top of the volcano. I'll kind of detour around it. Careful not to fly directly over these geysers. Or at least not when they're blowing steam. You can go over them when they're not.
Welcome to our growing center. Our trading floors are at your service.
And you get that little beeping noise, and the fuel will go yellow when you're at 50% capacity. And we're up to 12 grand. So that's a nice little start. Now I'm going to open the map, which is a touchpad, and I'm going to find out if Port Estelle does not have a hangar. You can see by the markings on here what services they actually have. And also the service drone is if you ever find yourself running out of fuel, you can pay to have this drone come out and refuel you and repair you. It'll even come out and service you if you land on a ship out in the middle of the ocean. But of course it's a lot more expensive than just flying to a base and paying for your fuel yourself. Okay, so we're going to go to Aslan 1. And they have an engine upgrade there, but they do not have the wing upgrade, so I'm going to have to find out what's up with them. Unless they just haven't talked about it yet because it's part of the tutorial. And I'm going to be on the safe side because I don't really want to crash particularly hard in this video, so I'm going to grab some fuel before I head over there. And I always kind of wait until the engines rotate backwards to make sure that they're actually shut off and that they're not continuing to burn fuel. Bridgeport will buy these batteries, which is semi-close to where I've got to go. That'll be another 1,500, 1,400. So yeah, it's probably worth grabbing those too. It's been a while since I've flown around with just a starter ship and no upgrades on it, so it's a bit of a novelty. And you notice that number, that 282 meters for Bridgeport? That's the height of the pad. That's a nice little touch to tell you if you're kind of lining up with where you need to be.
Hello, Captain. I have a job for you. When you're ready, contact me. You can do this using the interface of your ship.
Alright, I suppose I will do that then. I will recharge because I think he's going to tell me to go upgrade my wings. Interface of the ship is... Maybe I gotta get off this thing.
Hey, buddy, help me out. I've got a container in Nord. Someone messed with the documents and now I can't sell the goods. It's been taken back to Aslan 1 for an inspection.
Okay, what do you want me to do about it? I mean, I guess I'm going to Aslan 1 anyways. And I think these are rations that are behind my ship. I just want to find out for sure. They are rations. So I'm going to take these. I'm going to take them and no one can stop me. And I think he's going to give me the same thing at Aslan 1 where he was just talking about. Okay, now I'm full throttle, and I'm still losing altitude rather than gaining it. So I guess I'm going to have to burn off a little bit of fuel. That little landing screen comes up when you get within, I want to say 150 meters of the ground. The one on the right. Okay, so we have a slow rate of climb. And that service drones container, I think, is the one that the prerequisite is to get the wing upgrade. And I'm playing this with a PS4 controller. There may be a way to do through the keyboard to shut the engines down manually without just waiting for them to go out, but I haven't bothered to look it up. Okay, so we're going to Aslan 1, which is where he said he had something that he couldn't sell. Oh, Aslan 1. I keep leaving the T out. Now, it's not actually marked that I have to go to the hangar, and I don't see any crates just laying around on the ground. So let's find out what happens here. Nope, just rations. Okay, well, we're going to the hangar. Scarab engines. Okay, well that's not ideal. I mean, I can easily afford them and still have 10 grand left over. Okay, I guess I have to do that service drones. I thought he said that they'd been sent back here from Nord. And I'm deliberately not buying the better engines because they're going to consume more fuel, 30% more fuel. And it says that I can do service and repair for 11 credits. Oh, landing gear is 3% damaged, hull is 10% damaged. That's showing in the upper left. I wish I could get my truck fixed that cheap. Okay, so we're going to the Nord. Okay, I got a big rate of descent. I kind of screwed up there. I'm going to attempt to get through the entire video without a catastrophic crash. But I often attempt to get through stuff without a catastrophic crash. That doesn't mean it necessarily works out. Oh, did a little bit of landing gear damage on that.
Container loading complete. Ah, I completely forgot. It's a hell of a heavy cargo. So be careful. Now, deliver to Aslan 1.
Okay.
We have 10 minutes left to declare those drones. Get them here to Aslan 1.
Yeah, sure, but let's mark it on the map first. Yeah, you'll notice how I'm full throttle and I'm not really lifting off. That is the hell of a heavy load he was talking about. Okay, finally burned off enough fuel. So beyond half a fuel load, I can't go vertical. Yeah, I'm super low on fuel and I can't climb. I can't do a vertical takeoff.
Warning to all pilots. Cargo Spaceway Charlie Foxtrot 13 inbound for landing at Aslan 1 spaceport. Please keep your distance.
No, I'm still full throttle and I'm dropping. Can't go beyond half fuel. What I'm trying to do is get a little bit of forward velocity to hopefully increase the climb. I think the only reason that this is sort of working is because it's using ground effect. I did not want to have to try to climb over this stupid mountain.
We are pleased to announce new upgrades for your ship. You can buy them at the Aslan 1 hangar. Price includes free installation by our qualified mechanics, and we will offer a fair price for your old items.
There, we could get the fatal crash that I was trying to avoid. Maybe I can drop it at Aslan Central for refuel. or crash it at Aslan Central, as the case may be. Okay, damn it. I've been trying to avoid that.
Your life and your ship are always insured thanks to the Federal Colony Support Program. Be careful, it's windy out there.
Okay, I believe that cancels the contract because the cargo was destroyed. But I can get the Scarab wings. This will allow me to do airplane mode. And that's pretty much the only upgrade that I want. Now, did that unlock the rest of the map? It did. And Mellet has the batteries for 4,500. So that is going to be our next objective. And I'm fully charged. Now, I don't know if that cargo ship coming was a... yeah, there's no way I'm going to get that in a minute and a half, so it's going to fail the mission. Mellet. That's over in this direction at 30 kilometers. That's going to be the longest flight so far. Now I've got some new items on the interface. Up at the top center, there's a roll indicator, and there's also a flight time as well as distance, estimated maximum distance marked on there. And as I lower the throttle, it'll extend my distance so that I can go further and further. This battery pack is going to consume most of the cash that I've currently got, but it's going to give me a capacity of 1,300 for fuel rather than the 850 I've got now. I just failed the mission with Mr. Plan.
Benita Media. You can keep this junk for yourself.
They really take your sweet time about getting rid of these stupid screen full of pop-ups. Which wouldn't necessarily be a problem if you weren't in flight when they all came up. Yeah, we got a whale breach in there. Now, once you get these batteries, it extends your range a lot, and it makes it a little bit more practical to do like long-range passenger missions, stuff like that. There's also that flight vector indicator, the little triangular thing with the artificial horizon. That's that thing right in the center of the screen now. And that was not a particularly good landing. Okay, engine's off finally. And this passenger is probably going to pay reasonably well to go where they want to go. It seems like passenger missions in this game pay based on the distance they want to go. And if you can get them there in the allotted time, you know, I would say it'll probably be 10, 15,000 for this one. And then some of them I've seen up to like 20, 25, but they go down very quickly if you take too long to get them to their destination. And that's why we're going to go to the hangar before we even talk to him. Okay, so we want the suspended batteries. And the landing gear is actually a pretty good value because when you do them hard landings, this will help a little bit. They're almost the same weight. They're 1/100th of a ton more. But it'll allow you to hit the ground a little bit harder. And you can see now our maximum fuel is 1,500. And we'll take this passenger to the Bridgeport. And I'll show you a very fuel efficient way to travel. And as soon as the passenger's on, the clock starts ticking. Three minutes. Wow, that seems optimistic. Okay, so I'm going flaps down with the wings out, taking off like an airplane. And because of the amount of fuel that I got and the fact that I probably want to burn off a fair amount of it before I try to land at Bridgeport, I'm going to stay at relatively low altitude. And I'm going to stay on afterburn the whole way. Now I probably have enough range to start doing the really high paying missions, like the rations out to Hardmine. That will take a trip of about, I think it's 60 kilometers to where you pick up the ration pack, and it's about another 70 to drop them off. But it pays $37,000 for a single box of rations. Alright, and the payoff was 11,000. So that's not bad for a single run. Now I did hit a little faster than I wanted to, so I did maybe a little bit of damage to the landing gear. But now that I've got the bigger battery pack, it allows for a little bit longer range trips. And it should even have the rest of the map exposed now. Okay, so we got Mellet down there. Now, a fairly good cargo run that I've done in the past is Raglor Transit to Hardmine, and if you go and you check on both of those ones, it says that you can buy the rations for $8.50, and Hardmine you can sell them for needed oh my goodness, they don't want them there. Interesting. So this has actually changed since my other profile. Okay, well that means that if I was to try to set up a trade run, I might have to do different locations. Because Hardmine used to be extremely good paying. they'll pay 80,000 for water. Unless you have to actually go there at least once. Because I think the first time I went there was when they started asking me for rations. Now, as for getting there, it's 128 kilometers, so you can't fly it directly from here. But if you do a fuel stop in regular transit, you should be able to get there in one trip. Let's see, that's 64 kilometers, and especially if you take off from Port Estelle, so that you can use the runway, then you won't burn much fuel getting up. Fly at high altitudes, like 2,000 meters, and there's a runway at Raglor. You can set down there, do your refuel, and then do the jump to Hardmine in another trip. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for this video, so thanks for watching. I hope you found it informative. Maybe you even found it the slightest bit entertaining. So, yeah, have a good evening, and maybe we'll see you again next time.